everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my old filming background. This is feeling very 2016 Hollie Dolly vibes of a video happening right now. Please, if you remember me filming all of my old videos here, comment below because that means that you have been here for a very long time. Today we're back. I am back at home, back in my old filming setup, and since the last video that I've uploaded, a lot of things have changed. Going forward from this point on, a lot more things will also change, so I thought a good idea to sort of mark this change in my channel, change in this area of my life, would be to film a Q&A video, to have a bit of a chat, and then we can move on from here. So, I asked for questions over on my Instagram. If you do not already follow my Instagram, you definitely should. That's the way that you can keep up with what I'm doing most frequently because, to be honest, the YouTube videos are definitely not the most frequent. So I put up a question sticker on my story. I got in a few different questions from you. We're not really sticking to just one category of questions here, so I'm just going to get started with the first, which is, how are you? I felt like this was a good place to start, and the answer to that is very good. I've had quite a few big life changes in the last few months, and to be honest, I was a bit apprehensive about how they were all going to unfold, but at the moment I am so happy with my decision. I feel as though I've definitely made the right decision for myself. I am very happy, very optimistic, very excited about the next few months of my life. So overall, I am feeling pretty fantastic. The next question that I received is, what are you most looking forward to in the future? And to be honest, everything. I have some huge plans for the next few months in relation to travel, which right now, at this point in my life, is my main priority. And yesterday I actually booked up another exciting holiday with one of my friends. And then the realisation hit me that from this point on, I have 2 weeks that I will be spending at home for the rest of the year. So I am going to be here, there and everywhere. I am so looking forward to it. It's a little bit of a mix of work and holidays, and I'm basically just trying my hand at a few different things, seeing what happens, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to share quite a bit of it on social media. The next question I've actually kind of just answered. Hope you return to more vlogs and day in the life, etc. That is the plan. I obviously now have far more free time on my hands than what I've had for the last 2 years, so I'm hoping that that will give me the opportunity to film more, to edit more, to upload more, and just to interact with everyone online, because that is really what I love doing. But in saying that, I'm also very aware that when it comes to my career, there are certain videos that I can no longer be posting online, so I'm trying to make a bit of a sensible decision and finding a sort of middle ground between keeping my online presence not PG, but I don't know, like workplace appropriate, while also filming and sharing the videos that I am really passionate about. So I'm still sort of trying to figure all that out in my head, but long answer short, I'm hoping that there will be a lot more videos than what there have been recently. Now, the next few questions are ones that I've never addressed before on my YouTube channel, but because of where the next few months / years of my life may head, I feel as though it's something that I do need to address. For some people, this will be an absolute no-brainer, but for others, this whole side of my life will come as a bit of a shock. So basically the question that I've got here is from somebody that obviously has a bit of an insight into who I am and who my family is. And that question is, are you interested in rallying and talking about your dad? So for those of you that have the same knowledge as the person that asked this question, I'm going to have a little bit of a ramble here. For those of you that do not, basically my dad was a World Rally Championship driver called McRae, and he actually passed away many years ago now when I was 8 years old. So I have lived the majority of my life without my dad, and because of that, and because of his name and who he is and what he means to a lot of people, it's something that I never really brought up online, particularly not on my YouTube channel. I posted a day in the life video years ago, like back when day in the life videos were popular, And I think I briefly mentioned that I lost my dad and my brother when I was 8, but that is the most sort of detail I have ever gone into on my YouTube channel. And that was a decision that I decided to make pretty much as soon as I created any form of online platform. The primary reason for that is because at the time I was in my teens. I was not very worldly wise, and a lot of people might have come across me for the wrong reason, so it was something that I sort of wanted to protect myself from. And the second reason that I've never really mentioned it online is because I don't want to be known as like Colin McRae's daughter. I don't want who my dad was to affect people's perception of me, and that's something that I've always been quite aware of throughout my life. Obviously, when I was still at school, the majority of people knew my story because I still lived in the same area, but when I moved to university, I didn't really tell anyone about my family background or my history until I was sure that they were like a really good friend. And it's something that I feel was a very sensible decision for me at the time. Similarly, when I went into working in schools, there is no reason for anybody that I work with or anybody that interacts with me to need to know who my dad was or the sort of background that I come from. So that part of my life was very much separate from me making my own way in the world. But in saying that, now I'm sort of taking a different route with my life and with my career, and because of that I am posting a little bit more on social media about rallying, about my dad, and I'm getting these amazing opportunities because of who my dad is. So obviously these two worlds I've kept separate for so long are very slowly intertwining, and there's not much that I can do about that anymore, so I just need to, I don't really want to say accept it because it's not something that I need to accept. I guess I just need to be a little bit more comfortable about people online knowing about my private life more than what I have let on before. Now that that spiel is over, we're going to have a little chat about some of the questions I have received in relation to that. The first being, is the McRae name a help or a hindrance? And I am going to say, at the moment, it's a help. Obviously, it is a little bit unnerving that people can Google me and my family and they've got this whole insight into our lives, and often that comes with people sharing their opinions in a way that they're not exactly necessary, but that's something that I've had to deal with for the majority of my life. And at this point in my life, I am now using my name and using my connections to the rally world to hopefully get me into a career or an area of work that I think I would really enjoy. I've been making videos on this YouTube channel since 2014, and I started this channel purely for a bit of fun, and I realised that I really enjoy creating content. From there, I've obviously built up a little bit of a social media presence. I've worked within social media marketing while I was at university, and all of these different experiences have made me realise that digital communication and broadcast journalism is something that I would really be interested in exploring. Another area of my life that obviously means quite a bit to me is rallying and motorsport. I was brought up in a family surrounded by engines and fast cars, and that is an area of my life that I sort of shut out for a while because I didn't know how I would really fit into it. I am never going to be the next World Championship driver, but in a way, and as cheesy as it sounds, rallying is in my blood. So if I'm able to combine those two things together into a career that allows me to travel and that allows me to meet some very interesting people, I would love to do that, and I feel as though I would be silly to give up that opportunity at the moment. So I am using the McRae name to try and give me a little bit of a leg up, but I feel as though I'd be silly if I didn't do that. So yes. Okay, the next two questions I'm sort of going to answer together, and they are, after Not Kill, are you going into presenting as you were awesome? Number one, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And secondly, are you going to be working for Dirtfish? So once again, for those of you that aren't clued into the rally world, the words Not Kill and Dirtfish probably won't mean too much to you, so I'll try my best to summarise as I go. Basically, Not Kill is a racing circuit here in Scotland, and at the start of July there was an event there where I did my first little bit of live presenting, which was extremely nerve-wracking. I was very, very nervous, but at the same time, I really, really enjoyed it. So going forward, I would love to give that a little bit more of a go. Obviously, I'm just starting out. I'm still learning what I'm doing from other people that have been doing it for a long time. But yes, presenting within rallying is something that I would love to keep having a go at. At the moment, I've got another event in the book, which is Rally Legend in San Marino in October. Other than that, I've not got anything else in terms of presenting lined up at the moment, but I'm always open to options. In the second question, Dirtfish was mentioned, and for those of you that are unaware, Dirtfish is a company that produces social media videos surrounding motorsport and rallying in particular. Last summer I did a few videos with them, and again this summer and at Knockhill we did a few more social media videos, and all of those experiences I have really loved. Obviously I feel as though it makes a lot more sense that I am more comfortable in front of a camera than a large crowd of people, but working with Dirtfish and working at Knockhill gave me that opportunity to see how they both could work together. And funnily enough, I will be working with Dirtfish very soon, because at the time that you are watching this video I will actually be out in Seattle, which is where Dirtfish is based. I'm going out for over a week to film some social media content, and I'm also going to be taking part in a women's driving day, which, if I am thinking about the time zones correctly here, there should be some stuff on the Dirtfish social media of that event happening right now. So if you're watching this video on Sunday, you might still be able to see those stories, and if not, they might be on a highlights reel somewhere. But yeah, lots of exciting things happening, and I am very ready for this little shift in my life. These sorts of questions are ones that I will probably address a little bit more in the months to come. But for now, let's head back to some teaching questions. I have one here that says, do you think you'll ever return to teaching at home or abroad? And I'm going to say at the moment that is still my plan. I've always said that international teaching is a goal of mine. I would love to work in a school abroad, and that is still very much on my radar. The time frame, however, has altered slightly. When I left uni, I was under the impression that I would do my probation year and then go abroad, but I chose to stay in Glasgow for an additional year because of COVID, and at that point I didn't have my vaccines and all of those sort of things. And now, rather than going back to teaching either in Scotland or abroad, I'm taking some time away to focus on some other things and tick some other things off my checklist that I've always wanted to do. In the long term, when I imagine my life at like 40 or whatever, I do see myself in the classroom. I love teaching, and I love being there to assist young children develop, both when it comes to academics but also like social skills and emotional development. That is so important to me. And in the meantime, I'm even keen to be using the skills I've learned from my degree and from my time teaching in other sort of ways as well. I feel as though teaching is always going to be a big part of my life, but it might not always be in the most traditional sense. Next question, with the lack of job certainty, would you recommend teaching? Thinking of career switching and it scares me. Now, obviously, part of the reason that I'm wanting to say goodbye to teaching for a while is because I didn't feel entirely valued working within the public sector, and I don't think that is a reflection on education in particular. I think that's a reflection of our government and how spending is managed. Teachers are extremely overworked and underpaid, and in 2 years that has already taken a bit of a toll on me. In saying that, however, I absolutely love the job. Nobody teaches because of the wage or like the quality of life that you receive as a teacher. People that want to go into teaching do it because they want to make a difference. And in that regard, I would say that I highly, highly recommend teaching as a career if that is something that you're passionate about. But do be aware that there are some challenges that come alongside it. Obviously, it's something that you need to weigh up with your personal circumstances, and as I've mentioned earlier, there are multiple routes within teaching, so you don't need to teach in a traditional classroom setting. You could use that passion or use those skills in other ways that suit you a bit better. Next question, we are going even further back in my teaching career, and we're going back to the uni days. This question says, How did you find the shift from first year to second year at uni? Was it drastic or fairly similar? And in my experience, I would say that first into second year wasn't too much of a big change. The main difference between the two was that in my first year at uni I didn't have placement, whereas in my second year I did. But when it came to the university teaching and the courses that we were doing, there wasn't too much dissimilarity. I'd say the main difference comes from second year into third year. That is the point that I felt sort of the biggest increase in workload and pressure. But in saying that, I enjoyed what we did in third year far more than in first and second year. I also just want to be very clear that this is me speaking about the course that I did at Aberdeen University 6 years ago now. So this may have changed and you might have a totally different experience. But for me, I didn't find the first to second year jump too difficult. Now, the last two questions I've got here are both teaching related. I'll pop them on screen, but I'm thinking I might do a video on each of these separately, particularly the lesson planning video, because that's something that I have wanted to do for quite a while. So if you'd be interested in a video on how I would plan a lesson, theoretically, let me know if you have any sort of subject that you'd be interested in or any area of the curriculum that you would prefer to see a lesson on. And the clothing video has actually been in my notes for a while to do a sort of teaching capsule wardrobe sort of video. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, let me know. But for now, I'm going to stop it here. I've done a lot of talking, we've covered a lot of different topics, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. There is going to be a very strange mix of viewers on my channel now, I feel. I feel as though we're going to have like the OG primary teaching squad and then the rally troops are just going to infiltrate. So I don't really know where this channel is going to go, but I'm hoping that you're sticking around because you want to hear my ramblings more than anything else. So if that is the case, please do subscribe and you'll see plenty more from me in the future. As I mentioned earlier as well, if you do not already follow me on Instagram, please do follow me because that is where you'll get kept up to date more on what I'm actually up to. When I find the time to sit down and film a video, I obviously will. But as I have already mentioned, there is not much time that I'm going to be at home this year, so it's all very up in the air. Anyway, I'm going to shoot off now. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you do have any other video suggestions that you would like to see from me, pop them down below and I will see you again soon with another video. Goodbye!